Before I start, I want to make clear that I fully understand the law relating to live criminal proceedings. John Swinney should also understand the law, so I'd urge him not to hide behind it, to avoid answering my questions, which have nothing to do with matters before the court. On January the 19th, John Swinney received a private briefing from the Lord Advocate. It contained details of charges against Nicola Sturgeon's husband and the former SNP Chief Executive, Peter Murrell. This information was kept from the media and the public. 31 minutes after receiving this information, John Swiney passed it to his most senior SNP spin doctor. Why?
First Minister.
President, so let me make clear that I understand the importance of protecting live criminal proceedings. That is exactly why the Lord Advocate sent me a minute to warn me about the risk of contempt of court on a significant criminal case. And it is abundantly clear I would be asked about that case in court. She did this in order to ensure I did not prejudice the proceedings. The minute, the very brief minute that was sent to me by the Lord Advocate, which of course is a type of communication that I received from the Lord Advocate on a number of occasions, was issued to the people in the government who have to speak on my behalf. So if it's important that I am reminded by the Lord Advocate that I must be careful and respect the live criminal proceedings, then it is equally vital that those people who are authorised to speak on my behalf have the same information.
Absolutely. Russell Findlay.
The reason John Swinney passed sensitive information from the Lord Advocate to his SNP spin doctor is obvious. It was because he knew that it gave him and his party a political advantage in an election year. Thanks to the Lord Advocate, John Swinney and the SNP knew the precise scale of the alleged crime, while the public knew nothing. Mr Swinney was also given key information about potential timescales, also concealed from the public. Yesterday, the Lord Advocate claimed that she briefed John Swinney so that he didn't say anything to jeopardise the case. John Swinney says he accepts this, but her explanation is simply not credible. But if it really was about preventing any risk to the case, who else did John Swinney share this information with?
First Minister.
Well, the Government has answered a Freedom of Information request on time to address exactly the point that Mr Findlay has put to me. And the reason, and I want to repeat the reason, why that information was shared with a limited number of people in the Government is because those individuals act on my behalf and they have to know the information that I am privy to so that they also do not jeopardise the live proceedings. Now, Mr Findlay has made a number of comments which are frankly contemptible, utterly contemptible. And on the radio this morning, a prominent KC was asked, Mr Thomas Kerr, was asked what to make of the issues that were raised in Parliament yesterday.
Let's hear one another.
And this is what... Sorry, Mr Thomas Ross, my apologies. So Mr Thomas Ross, and he said, I thought it was an absolute disgrace. I mean, the current Lord Advocate has practised at the Scottish Bar for 40 years. She has a stellar career. She is trusted by every practising lawyer and every judge in the country. And for her to be accused of corruption without a shred of evidence to support it was one of the most shameful episodes I've seen in that building. It was a shameful episode. Russell Findlay was responsible and he should be ashamed of himself for what he has said.
Russell Findlay.
Imagine boasting about getting an FOI answered on time. Absolutely desperate. And it sounds like, because he didn't answer the question, it sounds like he didn't share this information with his entire cabinet, but he shared it with his spin doctor. The Lord Advocate should have known that handing politically advantageous information about an acutely sensitive criminal case involving Nicola Sturgeon's husband to the SNP leader was a gross misjudgment. The Lord Advocate was appointed by Nicola Sturgeon and retained by both Humza Yousaf and John Swinney. As a member of SNP government, she's supposed to be scrupulously politically neutral. And I will say it again, in the real world, this smacks of corruption. And it once again highlights...
Let's hear one another.
This once again highlights the inherent conflict of interest with Scotland's top prosecutor also being a member of the Scottish Government. John Swinney stood on a manifesto promise to address this. 5 years later, nothing has changed. I wonder why. Does John Swinney now agree that the Lord Advocate's dual role must now end?
First Minister.
Before I address that point, I want to say something very directly to Mr Findlay, to Parliament and to the public in Scotland. Dorothy Bain is an outstanding prosecutor. She is an outstanding lawyer. She has 40 years of unimpeachable service to the public interest in Scotland. She alone is responsible for more cases of sexual violence of men against women being brought to justice than any other person, and I put on record today my absolute confidence in the Lord Advocate in undertaking her duties.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I am disgusted by the way Russell Findlay spoke about her yesterday, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should withdraw every word of contemptible rubbish that he's put on the record yesterday and today.
Thank you. Let's continue. Thank you.
The Government took forward, was elected on a policy commitment to explore and examine and consult on the issues in relation to the dual functions of the Lord Advocate. Those issues, of course, have been considered, but research work has been undertaken and it awaits decisions amongst ministers. But I point out...
Let us hear the First Minister. Thank you.
I point out that the regulation of the arrangements for the Lord Advocate, holding the dual functions of being the Chief Legal Advisor to the Government and the Head of the Prosecution Service, is in the Scotland Act 1998, which is a reserved piece of legislation. Now, if Mr Findlay wants to do something about it, he should support Scotland in becoming an independent country.
Russell Findlay.
The best actor for phony anger goes to, Oscar goes to John Swiney. What a desperate deflection! Unbelievable. After 5 years,
let us hear our proceedings.
5 years of inaction, it maybe will take this rotten episode to finally force the SNP to end the Lord Advocate's dual role. This scandal is typical of an SNP government obsessed with secrecy and spin, personified by the First Minister. And if John Swiney really doesn't understand why this stinks, he's in need of a software update. The Lord Advocate's private memo gave John Swiney political
Let's hear one another,
advantage.
colleagues.
The Lord Advocate's private memo gave John Swiney political advantage. He was Nicola Sturgeon's right-hand man, and he got a heads up about the criminal case involving her husband. The Lord Advocate's actions were wrong, and her excuses don't stack up. John Swiney says he's got confidence in her, so will he therefore support our plan to get her back into Parliament to provide a full statement about this shameful, rotten episode?
First Minister.
Parliament decided on that point last night in a democratic vote by the elected members of Parliament. Yesterday, Mr Findlay put on the record all of his points to the Lord Advocate. there were, I think, 14 members able to ask questions of the Lord Advocate in an extended urgent question that was before Parliament. And this morning on the radio, Thomas Ross KC said this: "I hope that now everything's calmed down, the Scottish Conservatives are big enough to apologise for making that slur, which is the slur against the Lord Advocate, because being trusted is the most important thing for every lawyer in the country. And for somebody who is trusted, the Lord Advocate, to be accused in some way of dishonesty, I thought was shameful." And I agree with Mr Ross, because I was disgusted by the behaviour of Russell Findlay and a number of other contributors in Parliament yesterday. I think it was the most appalling level of behaviour that was deployed by members of Parliament. We've got a code of conduct and some standards to hold in this Parliament.
Thank you. Thank you. You will stop shouting. Continue, First Minister. Let us hear one another.
And the shouting and bawling from the Conservatives demonstrates my point, that they don't deserve to be here, and they won't be here because they're on their way out at the forthcoming election.